pod during small group, and that's like where you can write on your own slides. The slides are already up there for you, and so I want to try doing something like that with the whole group today. So you do not have to do the slides the whole time. There is an activity we're going to do at the end where I do need you to do this on the slides. We're going to do this in Class Kick. So what I'm going to do in the notes of this class, so at the top, you'll see a button that says notes. If you click that, there's a link in there. I'm also going to open the room chat. So please refrain from typing in there. Okay, I'm going to put this link, and I need everybody to go and open. Please go open this Class Kick. So this has all of the slides for today in there. So you can download them. If you want to take your notes on the slides, that's fine. If you like to do it on paper, that's fine too. But there's an activity we're going to do at the end that I need you to have these slides open. So everybody go ahead and open that real fast. Today we're going to be working on Unit 4. Okay, so this is our first whole group of the Unit 4 instruction. We're going to be working on writing and solving equations with direct variation. We're going to hopefully get to equations of perpendicular and parallel lines, and then writing linear equations when we're given a table of values, a graph, and a verbal description. So some of this will feel like repeat information from Unit 3. So some of this might be very familiar to you. Some of it might be new. Okay, so remember that you are expected to take your own notes. For those of you that don't have paper or you don't have it with you, that's why I have the Class Kick up there. So those slides are already loaded in for you, and you can just write on them. You can click through with me as we go. That also gives you a way to download them. And then remember, I need everyone to participate, chat responsibly, and then be prepared. Real quick today, I'll put the attendance form at the end of class. If you sign off or you get disconnected, remember it can also be found under content and then attendance forms. Today, you need to submit your attendance form. Tomorrow, you're going to have an all-in check for understanding in USA Test Prep. Wednesday and Thursday, you have daily homework in USA Test Prep. And then Friday, you're going to have a quiz. Okay. Just a reminder, there's no small groups this week. And then office hours are only on Wednesday from 12:30 to 1:15. So the teachers have some training that we're doing all week. So you can email questions, of course. If you need me to make you a personalized video to send back to you, totally fine. I'm happy to do that. But office hours are only on Wednesday this week. Okay. All right, so we're going to get started here with direct variation. So direct variation exists when a relationship is proportional, okay, meaning it has the same rate of change all the time, okay? You can say this, instead of saying something is a direct variation, we say it as y varies directly with x, okay? So that's how we say that. That's how you'll see it in your problems. It will say y varies directly with x, and that should tell you, that's like an automatic clue, oh, this is a direct variation problem, okay? So what does that mean? Well, a direct variation has this formula, this equation, y equals k times x, okay? That's it. So y is always going to be there. X is always going to be there, and then the k is going to be your constant rate. Okay, so k, if we think back to Unit 3, k would be the same as what letter in our equations, or what would it represent? Good, Meg. Yeah. Constant rate. Yes, Cheyenne. M. Yes, so k is our constant rate, just like slope. Exactly. Slope is our rate of change. Very good. So the only difference here with direct variation, sure, Tony. The only difference here, direct variation, notice that it does not clearly have the plus b, right? So when we were talking about linear equations and we did slope-intercept form, we wrote it as y equals m times x plus b. This plus b is missing because all direct variation equations go through the origin or the point 0, 0. Okay, so if it does not go through the point 0, 0, then it is not a direct variation. Okay. All right. Jania, sometimes they don't use the letter C because when you get up to like algebra 2, you'll start using the quadratic formula. And they use C as a constant, but not as a rate constant. So it'll be like plus C, and C is just a number. In this one, K, it's a rate. So they use K instead of C. Okay, so another thing we need to be able to recognize is we're going to have to find what's our constant rate. And so the way that we will do that is K, we're going to solve for K. So if you look at your equation right here, y equals K times X. If I want to solve for K, I have to undo the multiplication by X. So to undo that, I would just divide by X on both sides. And that's how I would get y divided by x equals k, which is what we have down here. Okay, so this is the same equation. It's just represented differently. Tony, we use letters in math because we want to be able to represent a real world situation. So we want to be able to change our equation as we go. Alrighty, so what does this look like? So let's go ahead and read this word problem. And then we're going to fill in our boxes and we're going to graph it. Okay, so if you want to go to your Classkick, okay, and if you want to be writing this in and graphing it with me on the actual slide, you can, or you can write it on your own paper. Totally up to you, but the graph and the table and all of this is already in Classkick if you want to do it that way. Okay. Alrighty, so Aaron works at a gym and earns $6 for every new membership he sells. Complete a table and graph to represent the relationship between X, the number of new memberships sold, and Y, the amount Aaron earns. Yes, I can. Let me put that link again. Okay, so while we're reading this, there's the link again if anybody needs the Classkick link. We want to highlight things or underline things that are important. So Aaron works at a gym, $6 for every new membership. Okay, so every time he sells a new membership, he gets $6. So we also need to figure out, well, what do we use? You can put your last name if you want, sure. What do we use to represent new memberships, right? Because we were talking about we have to use some sort of letter, so we're going to use a variable, and we have to decide, are we going to use Y or are we going to use X? So if we keep reading down to the next sentence, it says, the relationship between X, the number of new memberships. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is come up here and put an X right here. Okay, so some of you have already kind of figured this out. You've already written your equation in the room chat. Okay. So we want to go ahead and let's do this first box right here. We'll do this. We'll call it number 1. What is the value of K? So remember, with direct variation, I'm going to write it up here. Sorry, I'm a little bit running out of room. Y equals K times X. So K is the constant rate, the rate that does not change. So what is the rate? How much does he earn for every new membership? What's the value of K? So we're going to write K equals, what do you think? Good, Caesar, good. 6, exactly. Okay, so now that we know K, we can fill it in to our equation. So let's write a direct variation equation. Y equals 6X. Okay. Okay, so this next one down here, the next square, should be pretty easy. Use your equation to find the amount Aaron will earn. So the amount he earns is Y. So we want to find Y for selling 14 new memberships. Okay, remember, new memberships is X. Okay, so what should I do if I want to figure out how much money he makes selling 14 new memberships? What do I do? Anybody? What should I do? Good. Okay, exactly. So what I'm going to do is plug in 14 for X. So instead of having 6 times X, whoops, that's a 6. I'm going to do 6 times 14. So how much money would he make if he sold 14 new memberships? What do you think? Good. Exactly. $84. Perfect. All right. Now this next one is where we're going to have to do a little thinking here. So you tell me, how can I find out, use your equation to find out how many new memberships Aaron sold if he earned $108? So if he earned 108, remember, Y is the amount he earned. So I'm going to let 108, yeah, good. I'm going to let 108 equal the Y. My K, or my constant rate, is still 6. And then I have X. So I'm going to set up this equation. And then, like you all are telling me, I'm going to divide by 6. So how many did he sell to make $108? That's okay, KJ. Good. 18. Exactly. Good. Y'all got the hang of this. Okay, so now we know how to write the equation. We know how to solve for X. We know how to solve for Y. So let's talk about over here this table. Okay, so memberships sold is going to be up here on the top. Money earned is going to be down here on the bottom. So all we're going to do is just pick any numbers we want. I'm going to keep this easy and do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now this is when this top number right here, 1, this says when X is 1, what would my Y equal? If I sold 1 membership, how much money would I have earned? Good. Okay, if I sold 2 memberships, how much money would I have earned? Good. Do you see how? Yeah, exactly. So that's how we fill in our table. This is just the same thing we were doing down here for number 3. We're just plugging numbers in for X. And then we're solving for Y. All right, so the last thing we need to do is graph this situation. Yeah, your multiplication will come in handy, huh? Okay, so this down here represents 0. Okay, so if I sell 0 memberships, I'm going to make $0. So I'm going to put a point there. If I sell 1 membership, so I bring my X over here to 1, where do I need to put my point on the Y? So not 60, it's going to be 1, 6. Yeah, 1, 6. Good, right here. All right, if I sell 2 memberships, exactly. So do you see how this is going now? Okay. Whoops, I missed my 5 memberships, 30. So do you see how this is steadily increasing at the same rate the whole time? Okay. Not too bad, right? Hopefully not. All right, tell me how you're feeling. Yellow is like, it kind of makes sense, but I need to practice some more, which I totally get it. We've only done 1. Red is like, I'm pretty lost. If you're pretty lost, will you send me a message in the private messages and tell me what part is confusing to you? If it's the graphing, the table, or writing the equation. That'll help me know where I need to slow down. Yeah, it was kind of fun, right? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the next one. So this is a different way of representing this. So this isn't a word problem. Jania, let me do this one first, okay? I'll let you do one part of this, okay? And KJ, you can do another part. All right, so remember, if you look back to our first slide, we said that it would say y varies directly with x. So as soon as I see this, I know that this is a direct variation, okay? Y varies directly with x. Okay, so this is a direct variation, which means it's going to have y equals k times x as its equation. We have to figure out what is k. Well, let's look at what they give us. Do they give us k? No, they give us x and y. Okay, so then let's plug in what we do know. Okay, let's plug in what we know. We know that y is 36. 36 equals k times 4. So how can I figure out what k is? Exactly, good. I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. Okay, so what would my value for k equal? Good. 9. Exactly. So then in the next box where it says write an equation to represent the situation, I'm going to do y equals 9 times x, because now I'm going to go ahead and include my k. Good. All right, so I'm going to let, I think it was it KJ? Did you want to do one of these boxes for me? And then Jania, I'll have you do the other one. So KJ, why don't you do this one? And then Jania, you can do this one. Okay, I'm going to get you whiteboard tools. Yeah, Cheyenne, you can do the next slide for me, okay? Thank you. And if you're working in Class Kick, you can raise your hand in Class Kick too, and I can check it that way as well. So everybody should be working on their own. Good, Meg. I see your hand up in Class Kick. Good job. Very good. Okay, now do the next one. Y'all are doing great. Good. So Jania, will you write it for me like an equation? So take your x and plug it in. So like we have this equation right here, y equals 9 times x. Just plug in what you do know. Well, you can leave your, like here it says find the value of y. So we're looking for y. Yeah, there you go. Y equals. KJ, can you show me your steps for that one? You're right. Can you show me your steps? Thank you. Not 6x. So remember our k is 9. You're close. Yeah, there you go. It's okay. You can write it, put your 27 in parentheses. That was perfect. Y equals, good. Oh, good. I see lots more hands. Jasmine, good job. Now do the next one for find the value of y. Good job. Leo, I see your hand up. Good. Good job. Good, Leah. Okay, good. So for those of you that are writing it out, so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're writing this out so we know our steps. So for KJ's, he divided 144 by 9. So why did he do that? Well, we knew that y was 144. So we put 144 equal to 9 times x. So we're going to always use this original equation, and then we're going to plug in the information they give us. So they gave us y. So 144 equals 9 times x, and then KJ divided by 9 on both sides. And that's how he got 16. Exactly. And then Jania did y equals 9 times 27, and then she got 243, right? So, yeah, 243. Perfect. Good job. Y'all tell them good job. They did great. Thank you. Thank you. Good job. Okay, let's do some more. So I know I had a couple people that wanted to try Cheyenne. I think you wanted to try one. Okay, so let's see. Cheyenne, can you do this first square? If you've already gone, will you lower your hand? Dottie, will you do this square? Write our equation for us. Meg, can you do this one? And then Evelyn, you'll do this one. All right, I got to give everybody whiteboard permission here. All right, Dottie, you should be good to go. Meg, you should be good to go. Leah, I see your hand. I'll get to you on the next one, okay? You can do it also in Class Kick and raise your hand, and I can look at it there too. And then Cheyenne, you should be good to go as well. All right. So Dottie, will you write it like, remember direct variation is y equals k times x. So what I want you to do is leave x and y and fill in. Oh, there you go. You're going. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Good job. That was a tricky one. Good job. Oh, close. Be careful with your rate, right? So this is our equation. Y equals k times x. So for this top one, okay, Cheyenne, I'm going to help you right now, okay? So let's go ahead and write out our equation. So we have y equals k times x, okay? We know it's going to be that equation because it says y varies directly with x. Okay, so now Cheyenne, I want you to plug in the numbers they give you. So instead of a y, you're going to put 3 equals. Instead of a k, we're going to leave k, right? That's what we're trying to find. And then instead of an x, you're going to put 12. So write it as 3 equals k times 12, or you can do 12k. Yeah, KJ, you're right. Three equals, close, Cheyenne. Let's put it, yeah, 12k. Yeah, there you go, Dottie. Now you're on the right track. And then simplify that for us. Okay, good. So Cheyenne, I'm trying to solve for k. So 3 equals 12 times k. What would my next step be? What do you think? What's the opposite of multiplying by 12? Yeah, good. Divide. So let's divide by 12 on both sides. And then Evelyn, on yours, for this one down here, we're trying to find y. So what you're going to do is let y be the same. And then you're going to instead, because we're going to try to solve for y. So instead of k, you're going to put your rate there. Okay, good. And then remember, we like to use, Dottie, you're right, it is 0.25. But remember, when we write equations, we're going to leave it, yeah, there you go, as a fraction. Okay, because when we graph this, we have to know how many are we rising, how many are we running. Exactly. Good, Cheyenne. So then you divided by 12 on both sides. Good. So For 3/12, we're going to divide the top and the bottom by 3. So 3 divided by 3 would be 1. 12 divided by 3 would be 4. So good, Cheyenne. Your rate, or your K, is 1/4. Okay, so there's our rate. And then Dottie gave us our equation. So now Meg plugged in 16 for y. So she did 16 equals 1/4 x. And then do you remember? We multiply by the reciprocal, right? So we're going to multiply by 4/1. Yeah, there you go. So then our x value would be exactly, you got it right there, 64. Good. Okay. And then Evelyn, we wanted to find y, so she left y the same over here on the left, equals 1/4 times x. But instead of x, she put in 36. So 1/4 times 36 is 9. Yay! Yay! Okay. Let's do one more time. Okay, I know that one was a little confusing with the fraction, so let's go ahead and do it one more time. Yes, dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by a reciprocal. Yep, that's how we divide fractions. Exactly. Okay, hold on. If you're writing on the board, hold on just a second. Do I have anybody that has not? Leah, I know you wanted to do one, so I'll give you whiteboard permission. Leah, can you find the value of K for us? Do I have anybody else that has not tried one that wants to volunteer? Raise your hand if so. If you have not volunteered. Okay. KJ, you can do this one. Jania, you can do this one. And then Cheyenne, I'll have you do this last one, okay? All right, KJ, I think I need to give you permission again. There you go. Jania, you should be good to draw. Cheyenne, do you still have whiteboard tools? I don't know. Let me look. Yep, you do. Okay. So we're going to keep it as a fraction, okay? I can tell you right now, your K is going to be a fraction, and we're going to simplify it, okay? Good. Leah, good job. Now what do we need to do? What's our next step? We have 9 equals K times 15. So we need to get rid of that times 15. What should we do? So KJ, you're right. It does give you a decimal, but we're going to keep it as not a decimal, remember? We don't want to have them as decimals. So what if you divide by 3 on the top and bottom? What if we divide by 3? Well, you would get 3/5, right? Yeah, 3/5. So when we're simplifying fractions, when we're simplifying fractions, we just have to find a common denominator or a number that will go into both. Okay. All right. So Leah's got our value for K, which is 3/5. So KJ, do you want to go ahead and write our equation down for us? Three fifths times x. Very good. Okay, good. So Jania is finding the value of x when y is 117. Perfect. So she did 117 equals 3/5 times x. Very good. So Jania, let's do this instead. Okay, you're right. We got to multiply by the reciprocal. So instead of doing your divided by sign, you were exactly right to switch your no, leave that 5/3. Leave the 5/3. Leave it. Stop. You were right in 5/3. Okay, we're just going to multiply now by 5/3. Okay, and then Cheyenne, you can go ahead and plug yours in. So we don't know what y is going to be. So leave y. Leave y alone. And then you know what k is. And then you know what x is. Okay, so you just multiply straight across the top, 117 times 5. That's okay, you're fine. So you get 585, and then you would divide that by 3. That's okay, Cheyenne. So let's go back. We want to leave y. So what we're going to do, we're going to rewrite this equation right here, but we're going to plug in the information we know. Okay, so we don't know y because our problem says find y. So we're going to leave y alone. What was our value for k, Cheyenne? Do you remember? Look back up in the top left corner. What's the value for k? You see it? Thanks, KJ. So the value for k was 3/5. So I'm just going to plug that in. Yep, it's also in Jania's and it's also in our equation. All right, and then instead of x, I'm going to plug in 9. Okay, so now remember when we multiply fractions, we go straight across the top and straight across the bottom. So that's supposed to be a 9. 3 times 9, you did get the 9 right, exactly. So 3 times 9 is 27. 5 times 1 would be 5. So our answer would be 27/5. We'll leave it as a fraction, okay? Yep, Jania, so 585 divided by 3. Go ahead and divide that. It will give you a whole number. We'll write it in blue. What's your whole number? $195, right? $195? Okay, awesome. All right, so now we have 10 minutes left. We're going to do our group activity and class kick. And I actually changed the class kick link. So this one's not correct. If you need the link again, let me know. All right, so let's talk about, let's read the directions here and we'll talk about how do we solve this? How do we know what to do? So draw a line to match the table to the correct equation. Okay, guys, hold on one second. Let me explain it. Okay, I'm back. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line from the table to the correct equation. So how will I know? Yeah, sorry, it's slide 43. Okay, so how will I know? Let's talk about this in the room chat. Okay, before I give you the link, let's talk about this in the room chat, okay? How will I know? What can I do? Guys, here's the link, okay? But let's focus on how do we do this, okay? So, remember what we did. I'm going to change the slides for a second. Do you remember what we did on this one, right? This top is an x, and we plug the x into our equation, and that gave us y. So what we can do then is take this x value, 0, do it in blue. So I'm going to come over here and plug 0 in to every single equation. So I would do y equals 1/3 times 0 minus 4. Well, we know that 1/3 times 0 is 0. So y equals -4. Okay, that one worked out. Now what I would do is take 1, and I would plug 1 in for x. So 1/3 times 1, subtract 4. Well, that doesn't give me -1. So I know that this top one right here, this one, cannot go over here. It doesn't go there. Okay, so I want you all to go into class kick, and you are just going to draw lines for where they go. Somebody said that you could use the y-intercept. Dominic, that was a good idea. So if you look here, this y-intercept is -4. So I know that when x is 0 for this one, y has to be -4. So that would eliminate this one from that option. Okay. So y'all work on this. I'm going to give you a few minutes, and then I will put up the answer slide right before class is over. After we do the answers, I'm going to give you your attendance form link. Okay. If you have questions, let me know. It's on slide 43. It's like probably the last slide. If you have questions, feel free to let me know. You can send a message. Sarah, let me look. I think I can. Sarah, will you do me a favor? Can you raise your hand? That should help me be able to find you a little easier. Oh, wait, maybe. Sarah, I can see you. Well, yeah, I can see you. Okay, so Jazz, what we're going to do, okay, tell me what y'all are confused about. Are you plugging in 0, the x values up top? So for this first one, we would plug in 0. We know that it is not this first equation. So let's plug in 0 wherever we would have -4 as a y-intercept. So I would try this bottom one down here. So plug in 0 for x. So y equals 3 times 0 minus 4. Well, 3 times 0 is just 0. So 0 minus 4 is negative 4, which is what I have for my y value. So that one works. Now let's try 1. Okay, I'm going to plug in 1 for x down here. So I would do y equals 3 times 1 minus 4. Okay, 3 times 1 is 3. So what do I get when I do 3 minus 4? Negative 1, exactly. Okay, so then I check. When x is 1, y was negative 1. That one works. So now I'm going to do it same thing with 2. I'm going to plug in 2 for x and see if I get 2 for y. Okay, bye KJ. The attendance form will be in the course. Tony, I just put it up as overdue so that way y'all would see it right away and go do it. It's not actually overdue, but a lot of people are forgetting to do their attendance forms. So we're not dragging the answer, Jayla. I couldn't make it draggable. So all you're going to do, let me kind of show you, is you're just going to draw a line. This is the answer, but you'll just draw a line. So use the pen to draw yourself a line. Okay, Meg, can you tell me what you're confused about? How to do it with the equations already given to us. Okay, so Meg, do you see how I plugged it in right here? I plugged in a 1 for x, and then you just solve it. So I am checking this top table right here. I'm checking this one to see if it's a match to this equation. So you pick an x from the table. I picked 0 and I plugged it in and I did get negative 4. So you have to check and make sure that every single x works. So when I plug in 1, I have to get negative 1 for that to be a match. When I plug in 2, I have to get 2 for it to be a match. When I plug in 3 for x, I have to get 5 as my y answer. Okay, so real quick, I am going to put up the answer slide. Here you go. That's okay, Meg. It's a little bit different. Yeah, here's the answer. So if y'all want to go ahead and check your slides, check your lines, and then I am going to post the attendance link right now in the chat. So if y'all want to open that and go get it done, then you are free to go. Y'all have a great week. Yay, good job. Bye, Hazel. All right. Oh, wait, do you mean one class this week or like all of today?